Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Jimmy and this is Jimmy Does Knitting. This is my podcast where I pick a topic about knitting and we go from there. You can reach me on Instagram, maybe Discord, I don't know how that works, but Discord and YouTube and Ravelry, of course, as Jimmy Does Knitting, and we have fun. So today we're going to talk about designs. We have a pattern release, we have a pattern update, and then just general thoughts about how design was going, how it's not going. I've been, let's say, long-term unemployed, and as part of that process, I've tried to be a designer in terms of actually publishing patterns and stuff and giving it an honest go. And I have some thoughts and feelings about that and how we will proceed afterwards. But that's later on. Let's get into the exciting stuff, which is knitting and new patterns and all of this stuff. So we are going to talk about this first. This is my pattern release for, well, now you can find it on Ravelry. Links are below. Links to everything is below, but especially to this pattern are below. You can go and buy it. This is the Polder Hoodie, and this thing has been a long time coming. I have been thinking about this since last spring, maybe, just because I've wanted a hoodie. I wanted a knit hoodie. It's my dream. I live in knit hoodies and sweatpants, and that's exactly what I have on right now. And I wanted my own version of this. And what we started off with was a prototype, which was this one, obviously, because I love black. And there were some things that needed to be done differently, but this is basically it. And the deal well, let's start with the name and then we'll go into the construction and what makes this thing special. This is the Polder Hoodie. Now, a polder is the reclaimed land after the Dutch pumped out the water. So the idea was that the stitch pattern, I'm gonna get up a little closer to you, was like the polder. So we have the water here, we have the dam, or the dike, as they call it, and then the reclaimed land. This is it's a seed stitch, so it feels like a field. And so that was the idea behind the hoodie. And what I really wanted to do is I wanted to have this stripe, which is a welt, and I wanted it to go into the sleeves. So the cool thing about this is the sleeve has this welt, and then you have it on the back too, where the welt goes behind. And I just really think that looks super cool, and I really enjoyed how that does. So I wanted a bit of texture, this cool welt detail, and then of course a hood that I can wear and keep me nice and warm. So that was the idea behind this. Now, to achieve the welt, what we do is we knit it flat, which is a construction that doesn't happen quite often. And we knit up, and I'm going to show you on the sample. Hopefully you can see it a little bit better. But we knit from the bottom here, and then we knit up and we knit out. So we go boom, 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 boom. We go across the sleeves like this. We do some neck shaping. So there's some short rows here. And then you go up and over. You knit the front. You do some front shaping for the little neck hole. You go across the sleeves and down. So it's knit in one flat piece for the most part. And so it's a bit crazy. It's a lot to handle, but it's so much fun because it's like a shawl too, where you have the different textures and the different parts. And as it gets to as you get sort of done with one part, there's some new part to keep you more engaged and stuff, which was really cool. So back, up, down and around, you seam the underarm to the hem. So there is seaming, but it's really not hard because you can also catch it with the stitch. Because of the moss stitch, you can get the pattern all aligned really nicely. Then you add a hood and you add cuffs. And that is the Polder Hoodie. So it's a really cool construction. I really like this welt detail that we have. There are also tutorials that I've made on my YouTube channel for the welt and a couple of the other techniques. I think in general, I have techniques coming on the YouTube where it can like supplement stuff that I do in my patterns or my knitting. We'll talk about more things to do with knitting, especially like adjusting some sizing, I think is really important, but it's like a as I get to it thing. And this was because we had the hoodie and I thought it would be nice to have a couple of technique videos to go along with that. You will need to know German short rows. That is not something I have a technique video of, but I used the Andrea Mowry one, which is really good. And I know that Brooklyn Tweed has another really good one. You can find some others. One day I'll do it, but not today. So yeah, this is the Polder hoodie. It's very exciting. I knit mine. This is what you want to know. This was knit out of Drops Nord, I want to say. So it has that alpaca in it. It has a bit of weight and a bit of drape. So this is a slightly bigger gauge. Which is also part of the reason why I made a second one, is because I needed to make some size adjustments. And what I chose to do for that was use the Woolyknit cones. There was a Woolyknit sale, and it's not the import that gets me. Like, it's not the shipping, it's the import tax. It's the BTV. So the sale was just about the same amount as the tax. So it's what made it good. Anyway, this is the color Rust Tan on their British Aran. It's just like I don't know, like a worsted weight yarn. This sweater's meant to be done with some worsted weight yarn. And you use 2 needle sizes. Use one for the seed stitch, because I find that, at least with me, seed stitch sort of like blows out. And then when you do stockinette, it gets in a little bit. So the upper part's done on a different needle size than the lower part. You have some nice cuffs. Anyway, very excited about this. This is like a dream design for me. Like, I love it. One day I'll make another one. For sure, I'll make another one, but like, it's not on the list anytime soon. But like, I've made 2, so much fun to knit. You can have a lot of fun with colors too. That's another thing I wanted to say. This comes in 8 different sizes. It is unisex, so you don't have to be male or female or anything in between. You can do whatever. It's slouchy, so there's a lot of room. You can play with the ease. Some people have done it a lot tighter. I have a fair amount of ease. I think this is like a 46-inch chest, and I have like a 34-inch. I have no idea what that is in centimeters. So yes, size inclusive, bunch of ease. Anybody can knit it. You can do it in whatever way you want. Like, I think, and I didn't do this for the sample, but I think it would be really cool if people put like stripes and made it more of like a varsity hoodie, and maybe like the welt and like stripes on the cuff were the same color, or you could do like, you know, each stitch is a different color sort of thing. I mean, you could really go all out with this, and I think that there are lots of possibilities, and I want to see you all making crazy things. And because it's worsted weight, you can do like mohair or add in your Surrey alpaca or whatever, or you could be like me and do solid boring black, which I actually quite love. But I think this pattern has a lot of potential, and I think it's really cool. So I would go to Ravelry right now and buy it. If you're getting this within a week of me posting this video, so I think for the last week of February, maybe the first week of March of 2024, there will be a just discounting thing. Like, I'm just going to discount the pattern. I'm not even going to give you a code. You're just going to get it for cheaper than what I was going to put it out for. And so you can go and do that. And that is the Polder hoodie launch. Go grab it. The next project I have is my other design that is in testing right now. This one is a bit different. It's a bit more mainstream. It's knit in West Wool Bicycle, which is their fingering weight yarn. And this is in the color Dutch Sky. And this was gifted to me from Stephen and Penelope, which is where Stephen West works and his wool and stuff. So thank you very much for that. I did another sample in Mondim. And the reason why I'm doing multiple samples of this is because there's so many options of this sweater, and I needed to do just different ones. The one I knit initially was more for myself, and I'm a fancy boy, so I did a fancy option, which involves some twisted stitches. And then there's a more basic version. And this is basic as, kids. This is the Troy Boy. And the reason why it's called the Troy Boy is because I am from a city called Troy, and the boys there are basic. And, you know, like I went to the mall, my school was Mean Girls, basically, like basic as they come. And so what a better basic men's sweater name than the Troy Boy to really drive home how like dumb and simple it is. But there are lots of options and very exciting. So this is where I've gotten. I have gotten through the body of the basic version. Now this is a different size than I knit before. And I'm sizing this and then I'm gonna give it to my dad. So there's one Troy Boy in Amsterdam for me. And there's one Dutch yarn in Troy, let's say, for my dad. So there's a Troy Boy in Troy is the idea. But it will also give a different size of like fit and stuff. I have, the options are, it's a top-down drop shoulder. Let's start with that. Let's take a breath. It's a top-down drop shoulder. So you start with this back panel, which is all I had, I think, last time. And then you knit that down to the arm length here. Then you pick up the front, you knit that down to the armhole depth, and then you join in the round and you do the body. So that's stockinette in the round, which I know a lot of people really like a stockinette top down and around. They like a basic shirt, and there's really just not anything for men. And so I decided to design one. The little details that make it cool. I have two collar options. This is the folded collar, which I think looks really nice. In the version that I did just a flat collar because I prefer that because of how my neck is shaped. I just like a straight like 1 1/4, 1.5 inches, and then just bind it off. But the folded collar looks really, really nice. And then there's this detail, which maybe on this side is a little bit easier to see, but it's just like a purling stitch detail right here. You can just tell by the fold. And then what's cool about it is it just goes into this really long 2x2 rib that I have. And then it continues also down the sleeve. So this is the beginning of the sleeve, and you can just see that it's there. I have over here a box of a bunch of swatches that you're not allowed to see. But I am filming like a whole step-by-step video of this, so it's a great, like, if you think you can attempt a sweater with the video, you should be able to do it. Now, it's not like the most detailed tutorial, but like we're knitting it together. And I think that that's a great way to go along with it, especially because it's such a basic sweater. If you're really looking for like the techniques or just like how to do some stuff, let's knit it together and we'll call it a day. That has made this go a little bit slower than I would like because I have to stop and wait for the light to come the next day, if it comes. I live in Amsterdam, it's very gray, it's very rainy. So sometimes there's no light and I just have to stop. But I've been documenting the whole process. There will be a video that goes along with the pattern. It will be free up on YouTube, all of that good stuff. Anyway, fancy version. This little swatch that I did for the video tutorial, so you can see the fancy version. It just has these twisted cables. I have tutorials on my YouTube about these twisted cables, but we also discuss them a little bit in the tutorial video. And yeah, it's just another option that you can do to engage a little bit. You don't need a cable needle. I teach you how to do it with a twisted stitch, which is like one of my favorite things in knitting. Lavia and May did a series of knit nights or whatever, and they were interviewing designers, and they're like, if you had one technique, what would you be knitting? And mine was like, I would do this twisted stitch. I think it's really cool. It's like a 1x1 cable, but it's not a cable, and you can do a bunch of things with it. Right now it's just a 1x1 cable, but I think it's very versatile, and you don't need any special equipment, just knowledge on how to do it. It's just, it's easy peasy once you get into it. So yes, fancy basic, 2 collar options. There's optional body shaping. There is a little bit, I put something on here. You can't see this. Why am I even showing you? But the deal is you can do it with mostly one pair of needles, 2 pairs of needles actually, but just like a 80 centimeters, 3.25 millimeters, which I have no idea what that is in US. And yeah, maybe a 20-inch cord. I don't know. But the idea is it's simple, guys. And especially if you like stockinetting around and you want something for like a more male fit with some customizable options, there you go. This is your sweater. It's going to be it. This is currently in testing. My testers are doing really cool stuff. They have some really nice yarns, which I think is great. My dad picked out this color, and of course my sample is in black, but you can get with your, I think you need like 3 or 4 skeins for most sizes of like hand dyed, or you could do a special yarn or something like that to really show off the yarn because the pattern is so basic. You could do a striping thing. I don't know, spin cycle, something like that. So this needs to get off my needles. Because I've had to start and stop on this. I feel like it's been on my needles for too long. It's really only been like a month, but like that's much longer than this would take me to normally knit. So I need to bust out this sleeve this week, and then maybe next week this sleeve, if not before then. Anyway, so this is my Troy boy. You'll be seeing more of this for sure. I'm very excited about this pattern. Keep an eye out. It's coming out mid-April, and that's the designs I have currently on my needles. And we're going to talk a little bit now about my toe dip into designing. I have some notes, so let's get out the notes. If you're not interested, check out a different video. We talk about different types of knitting, all of that sort of thing. So that's fine if it's not your thing, but I thought it might be interesting just to get some thoughts I have on like a design perspective sort of thing. Who knows? Anyway, I have notes. So I think we're gonna release these 2 patterns and see how it goes. As I said, I'm like long-term unemployed. I don't really have the money for like tech editing and grading and putting out sweater patterns every time I have a single idea, because I just don't have that money, and I'm unclear if these things are going to sell. The last pattern that I put out sold 3 copies. So I'm not very hopeful that this investment is going to be paying off. Maybe later when I have a bigger following, something like that. And in general, I'm a newer pattern knitter, and I think I just get overwhelmed by a bunch of stuff and I need some support. So I've done all the grading for this sweater, which was with that construction, and there's like gussets and stuff. With this construction and like grading it into 8 sizes, so it's size inclusive, was a task, and it took a tremendous amount of time. I know people have these like spreadsheets that are like, oh, this and this and this and this and this. That is not how my mind works, and I don't know Excel, so I like hand did the math for like every size, and it was a lot. And same thing with the Troy boy. The Troy boy is going to be in 10 different sizes. So, I mean, it's just a lot, and I find it overwhelming. I think if I had to release the sweater again, I would just get a grader. I know I can do it myself. It's fine. I want a grader. I don't want to do that. It takes up a lot of time and a lot of brain power. And yeah, it hurts my head. So that's a way that I could get support, but I can't afford it. And then I also don't know if my patterns are going to sell or not. I mean, these videos get like 200 views maybe. So I'm not inclined to say that like officially writing up the pattern and taking time to do that is worth the effort. Now, I'm going to continue to design. You can see in future videos, I have designs that I need to do. They're in my head, they're on the needles. I'm a very creative person, but I think we're gonna approach it a little bit differently, because maybe I'll make like a project video, or I'll just show you, or maybe they're a secret until I can find a publication to do some of it. Because I don't knit what everybody typically wants. I would say the Troy boy was an exception because I thought that I really wanted to make that sweater. I mean, I did really want to make that sweater, and I could not find a pattern similar to that at all. So that's what happened there, and I do think it will sell, which is why I'm taking a chance on that. But like, I have some stuff in mind. Like I want to do a cable sweater out of fingering weight yarn, and that's not going to sell, like, especially because it's going to be pieced. And I have a motif that does diamond stuff from a Does Diamonds cowl and hat that I have a whole sweater planned out for. It's a lot of math. I have no idea how I would ever grade it. And that would be something that would be a very ambitious pattern. And I think I might sell like 5 of those. So I'm not going to spend all that money to sell like 5. Yeah, I can get, like, if a yarn company wants to sponsor me, or if I can shop it out to a publication, I think that that's what's going to happen with that. So I'm going to say something controversial, and we're going to roll with it. I can always cut this out, I suppose. But I've really been having an issue with the test. And like, as a small indie designer, I need more testers. I really just need like more testers. I don't have the reach. You know, Retrosario Rosa Pomar and Stephen West, and well, Stephen and Penelope, they advertised the test for my short boy sweater, which I was very grateful for. But I still only have like 9 people sign up for the test, and that's fine. It's all right. But it's like I need more because I have a bunch of sizes and stuff. If you want to reach out to me on Ravelry and you want to knit one of my patterns in like the larger sizes, let me know, because then we'll arrange something so you can test out the larger sizes, because I definitely do not have testers for that. Besides the point. But what I understand, when you test something for somebody, I'm asking people to do this for free. And you know, like, the pattern's already tech edited and it's been graded and stuff. So I'm not asking you to like go through and like check my math and do whatever, but I want to see, like, is it readable? Are there any issues? Like, you know, is it enjoyable? Like, that's the things I want to do, or like something. And so I don't want the tech editor or the testers to like tech edit for me. I just want them to enjoy the knit and like make sure it's fine, because there are some things that like me and my tech editor miss, but it's not their job to tech edit. But what I will say is, if you're going to sign up for a test knit it, right? For the Polder Hoodie, I had a bunch of people show up. I think like 4 or 5 people showed up to the actual testing group to test it after I sent out a draft of the pattern. And then of that, I think only 1 person finished the test, and like one other person I know just needs some more yarn to finish up the hood. And then like, I don't know what happened to everybody else. Like they just ghosted me and stuff. And I think that that's like, if you're going to say you do something, then I'm going to say, do it, right? Like, it's different if it's petite knit, but if it's for like a smaller designer, like, you know, if you're going to help me out, then help me out. If you don't want to do the test, then don't do the test. Like, I'm not going to force you to do anything. Now, there was one woman who's like, look, I got COVID, life happened, I'm not going to be able to complete this. I hope that's fine. And I'm like, look, I've been there, right? We've all been there. That's fine. Like, life can happen and stuff, but like, just a ghost, I think, is rude. And I know it happens to everybody and whatever. And, you know, sometimes it's maybe just a communication issue. Maybe that one person said that to me, but there were like 3 other people that didn't. But like, I mean, I say that the test is on Discord. So like, you have to be able to join Discord, and then like nobody joins Discord. It's a bit frustrating for me, because I'm certainly putting a lot of effort in, and I know you guys are too when you're testing, and that it's, you know, you have to pay for the yarn yourself. You have to take the time to do this. Like, and there's a deadline, which I try to give like 10 weeks, which is a fairly generous deadline. Just because like, I want to make it fair. Like, I'm not on a schedule. I'm not in season. Like, I'm not trying to make this more complicated or make like a ton of money off of it. I just really want to like have a successful pattern. And I've just been finding I was doing this test while grading the Troy Boy, while some other knitting related things were happening, and I just found it very overwhelming. And I'm like, this is an incredible amount of effort to put in, and I don't know if I'm gonna get it back. like, I enjoy designing, and like I can write a draft of a pattern, no problem. That's like one size. It's not going to be tech edited, but like I can write that up pretty easily, and I'm fine with that because that's kind of how I take notes and write things down anyway. So that's not so much really a problem for me, is writing like the first draft ungraded. But the rest I think is a different mindset that I don't have the critical eye for, let's say. So I find that to be more challenging and less enjoyable. And I guess what I'm trying to say is if I'm not going to sell patterns anyway, or like if if it's not worth my time to do that, then I'm just not going to do it for most things, I guess. Yeah, so it's one thing. And I don't knit standard commercial stuff. So like your top-down raglan that everybody wants, like I'm just not going to make it. And that also makes it harder to sell patterns and stuff. Anyway, that's my ramblings about like where, like, I don't know if I'm going to release any garment patterns anytime soon. I have a scarf pattern that I want to release in the fall, which I think would be really cool. And I have no problem doing that because it's like one size, I can write it up, it will be fun. Those things I find less overwhelming. Let me look at my notes a little bit. So what do I want to be doing going forward? We've touched on this a bunch, but I think what we're going to do is get a publication to do the sweater patterns or the garment patterns. So I'm going to have a lot more secret knits or something that I don't share. Not like I share everything on the channel anyway, but like a hat or sock I'm not going to share with you. But so maybe some more secret knits and then try to publish those and get like a stack of those ready and do that. I think also, and you have to let me know if you'd be interested in this or not, but like I could write a pattern up in what I did in one size, not tech edited, not graded, and I can put it on Ravelry for like $1 or something like that. Like I think that could be something cool, just so like I am a little bit compensated for the work that I have done, but also like I don't find the process overwhelming. And I think I might sell the same amount of patterns if I'm going to be honest. Oh, another thing I wanted to do is I want to try, process videos a little bit more. I think what a lot of people are missing is the confidence to do something fairly easy like seaming. I think people just are like super overwhelmed by it, but it's like you stick a needle under 2 stitches, under 2 stitches, under 2 stitches, under 2 stitches, done. You got a seamed garment, it's great. So I think maybe I'll take you along with my process and try to make knitting more accessible via my design. So I'll do like a project video, or like we'll go into a little bit more depth. I think one thing that I want to address is like sleeve shaping and modification, because I mean, typically like men are larger, and I mean, patterns are usually written for women that I get, and those women have certain standards that they are measured to, and like physically measured to, and like my arms are longer, so I have to modify sleeves quite a bit, and I think that that's something that might be helpful to figure out when we're doing stuff. Or for the summer cables, I have like a very specific construction I want to use, and why am I going to use that? And like, what does that mean? How does it affect the garment, especially with the yarn and stuff like that? I think like that stuff's really important to go over, and I don't know if it's really discussed a whole lot. It's like, look, I made this petite knit pattern and I use this, trendy wool and whatever. So I think you're going to be getting a lot more of those. How to modify for men. And yeah, I just want to get like, I love knitting, and I love being creative and showing people like different parts of this stuff and like trying different things out. And I think you can try it with me, or I'm no expert by any means. I'm no master hand knitter. You can see my technique is not the best, but like, in general, like I think this is more approachable. And so like, how do I get more people to engage, or, like, how can I make this into something a little bit more than like, look at my knit, look at my knit, look at my knit. That's not what I'm interested in. Anyway, those are my thoughts on designing, I guess. So you'll be seeing, at least my Ravelry store will be going a little bit quiet after April and the Troy Boy launch. And you're gonna see more project videos. I have some really cool things planned for this year, which will go in future videos, and I'm sure you're going to see that then. So thank you for being here on my rambles. I don't know if this made any sense. I don't know if you're interested in my perspective with anything, but yeah, I mean, like, I really gave designing a try and like trying to get some stuff done, and let's wait and see. And I'll just go back to different types of content. Guys, I don't know. Anyway, thank you for being here. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, that it's nice and sunny and seasonally appropriate temperatures wherever you are. Be kind to yourself. Do not get down on yourself, and then be kind to others too. I think that that's important, and we need that. We need some compassion in the world. So that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, give me some feedback. If you have anything that you want to say to me in the comments, that's really appreciated. Keep it kind. This can go a lot of ways, so keep it kind. But yeah, and I really appreciate you guys all for being here. I'm rambling. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.